And we're live.
Yes, we are. What's going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. As you can see, the entire family is with me this evening. I got Miss Ruth Caguias, Sports Talk Florida, Set the Sales podcast, along with Jake Rongholt, Turning Point podcast, Michael Carotenuto, NBC Sports Radio, 1060 The Sports Hangover, and the jack of all trades here, my man, Mr. Alex Fleming. He does the Mark Moses show, the Chris Pirtle show. He's got a new show called Turf Talk. He writes for Florida Sun. He writes for Buck Report. He has his own podcast called Fantasy and Flavors. Thank you, Alex, for taking time out of your schedule to be a part of the Sports Arena tonight. Let me just say that. So
we appreciate you.
Bro.
Good Lord. We got a lot to get to, and thank God sports is starting to come back, although it is not without there being somewhat of a hiccup. Jake, I'm going to go right to you because before we came on, we were talking about a lot of stuff, but let's get right to the baseball part of things because Rob Manfred right now is in control of how the 2020 MLB season is going to be constructed. So I need to hear from you on this one, even though I know you got LeBron, Giannis, Siakam, and I can't see the guy directly behind you.
Like Kawhi?
Is that Kawhi? Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't want to assume. Before we get to NBA, let's get MLB out of the way.
All right. Well, what MLB right now is that on Friday night, the MLBPA basically told Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred, the commissioner, just let us know when you got a schedule going, whatever games you want to do, and we'll be ready to go. And Rob Manfred decides to go on a return of Major League Baseball Sports Center special and tell Mike Greenberg, quote, "I am not confident in a season in 2020. I don't care if this is a stall tactic. I don't care what kind of business school he came out of. This to me just feels like they're gonna ruin this. They are out of time to me. They are getting closer and closer to July, and they haven't played one game of baseball. No spring training, nothing. All of these players have been basically saying is, look, we're ready. All Rob Manfred had to do basically was just abide by the prorated salaries that he agreed to back in March 27th, 14 days after the pandemic hit. And he decided to negate on that as well. This is a guy who is flip-flopping on the term that he said, we're 100% we're going to be playing baseball come out. And now this just looks like a complete disaster. Do the world a favor. If you are not going to play baseball, cancel the season and then get Rob Manfred out of office because I am sick and tired of this guy's flip-flopping. I am nauseous to the point where I actually sat there to myself and said, what was worse for baseball? Rob Manfred saying that it's not confident in the 2020 season or watching Long Gone Summer. I don't know anymore, but baseball needs to find something good to come out of this. And not to mention, we just had some breaking news coming in about 10 minutes ago. And that is there are several players and managers right now that have tested positive for COVID-19. So not only that, congratulations. You made it nothing about health whatsoever, made it about money, and now you got this story now coming out. This just looks worse and worse for baseball going forward.
Do you know who tested positive?
They haven't said names yet right now. It just came out. It was on CBS Sports about 10 minutes ago before we went on there.
Here comes the second
My
wave.
goodness.
Speaking of second waves, can we just talk about how bad Texas and Florida have been with the second wave? Like it is just
Arizona's getting crushed too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Alex, let me go to you and ask you because you and I have talked back and forth about we just pretty much are saying cancel the season and move on to 2021 at this particular juncture. I mean, is there any sliver of hope that the MLB is going to have somewhat of a season? And I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyhow. We're pretty much saying the season's gone. We're just moving on. Is that? Help me on this one,
Bro.
Yeah,
I buried them a week ago.
Okay,
They've been done.
Okay,
I
just wanted to make
them
sure.
the eulogy and everything. I got nothing to say about MLB.
All right,
Well,
Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, because, okay, Jake, I get your frustration, but the commissioner still works basically to serve the owners. Yes, I know it's a lifetime gig. Yes, I know it's he does look bad, but at the same time, I'm not getting him out of being commissioner due to the fact that it's billionaires and millionaires that can't agree. The 30 for 30 that aired the Long Gone Summer, like that was actually perfect for this because it's literally they're gonna lose a season, and I hope the only people I truly ever feel bad for are the scouts, the clubhouse people, and the umpires.
And the minor
that's it.
leaguers.
Well, whatever. They're still going to be major leaguers, so not fully. The umpires, the scouts, and the clubhouse people. But yeah, he's making a joke of it. I mean, at some point, just say this is the season, and also what he should do actually, because it would take a lot to get him ousted, and there's no way they're ever organized enough to do that since it's a lifetime position, which is a great idea. So you can't be swayed by any one club, team, anything like that. But at the same time, there's for me, I don't think that they will get rid of him, but B, you can't. He just needs to say there's a season, because if not, I literally hope no fans ever come back. I mean, I was done after the strike and steroids anyway.
Yeah, but Mike, I mean, listen, bro, at this particular point, I think the owners and the MLBPA have got to find a way to remove Manfred from.
But it's not his fault
position.
that they all are complaining about money. I don't.
But Mike, the other commissioners in all the other leagues are at least making the legitimate attempt to put something in place. Whether it's going to work or whether it's not going to work is still up to be determined. But they are at the very least saying, here is our game plan. Here is what we're trying to accomplish. Here is what we would like to do. Amidst everything else that's going on, they are at least trying to get back to business. And it appears as though MLB is like, well, we hope that, COVID takes a spike down so then we can figure out how many games we want to play. We hope that everything else that's going on in the world will eventually subside so we can put a game plan together. It just seems like they are doing the wait process. And then they're going to hurry up and just throw something out there.
Right, but that's always seemingly baseball's MO. I mean, the only thing they get right and stick to is like what? A 35-year-old ruling now on Pete Rose, who should be in the Hall of Fame as a player anyway. But yet all these idiots that did steroids, it's totally, oh yeah, let's cheat. And cheating's cool because if we get away with it, it's really cool. So, I mean, it's ridiculous, but I'm not saying he shouldn't be gone. I just think A, they're not organized enough. B, the players, yes, I get they want to get paid. And they did talk about safety in the beginning. We talked about that a while back. And every other country literally that they showed, I mean, I know they showed like, you're talking about downswing, but like Italy, Germany,
all these other countries are making strides.
They're huge on the downswing. And I mean, Germany, with the Bundesliga, Italy started soccer again. Spain did too. England, I think, is starting next week.
Is anybody getting up to watch Korean baseball at 5:30 in the morning? Let me just ask that question.
Not at 5:30. I've watched.
Well, it'd be 2:30 your time,
reaction. Right. Well, exactly. There's times I was drinking some vodka or some wine and I haven't been to bed. So I'm like, let's check out the Korean baseball. So some of it's been pretty cool,
Right.
but
Yeah, I love their fans. Did you guys check out their fans in the stands?
Yeah, it looked like
Teddy bears?
that movie Josie and the Pussycats long ago when they used to have like the cardboard celebrity figures on there.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like watching those Korean baseball games. I'm like,
There's
whoa,
a lot of Pikachu.
this
Yeah.
is some deja vu.
All right,
Well,
listen, our man
right.
James Ludeman is chiming in saying baseball is gone. Rest in peace to the 2020 season. So with that, we're going to keep moving on here on the
Yes.
Sports Arena.
Amen.
I got Ruthie, Mike, Alex, and Jake
Okay.
joining me. Let's transition to the NBA because there has been some conversation surrounding this league, more importantly, surrounding whether players are going to play or whether they are going to sit. So I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. Let me preface that right now. I'm not going down with the political side of things. What I am going to say to you is basically, Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard, with them saying that they would not play for COVID reasons, also to bring about more of the injustices that have happened. Is this a good thing for the NBA right now, for the players to take yet another stand and not play? Now, let me just preface my comments with this. Kyrie Irving pretty much wasn't playing this season anyhow, so I appreciate him speaking up, but you're not in the playoffs.
Right.
You have a shot to get in, but you're not getting in. So focus your attention on what you need to focus it on, but put the NBA on pause right now. And Alex, I'll get to you. I'll get to you first on that. With Dwight Howard, I want to look at Dwight and say, again, I appreciate everything you're doing, but you have an opportunity to win. Focus on that for me, because I feel like sports need to have that platform, not only to keep the message going, but it's a double win because we also still get to have that breakaway. With that, I'm going to go to my man, Alex Fleming, and have him speak on it first. And then, Ruthie, I want you to chime in as well.
Kyrie shouldn't be saying what he needs to say in an open meeting when he's asking about saunas. Is there going to be refreshments? Are we going to have snacks? Can I sit in stands? You know, you want people to take you seriously. You should approach this seriously. And I completely wholeheartedly disagree with you. Kyrie Irving was injured in March. That doesn't mean his team isn't going to make the playoffs. You remember when we were covering the Orlando Magic during the Magic Perspective, and
Yes.
I gave you that funny stat that the Nets played better without him? Guess what? They're a game better than Orlando. They're number 7. Now, if they do the East-West, they'll be playing the Lakers because they beat the Lakers that Wednesday night before all hell broke loose. So, yes, his team has something at stake. It'd be even better if Durant was playing, but he's not. I digress. Here's the point. You can get your point across even better if you are playing. I don't know why he said anything because he's not going to be playing anyway. He's injured. And as far as Dwight is concerned, aren't you happy you're still in the league? I mean, bro, do we need to go down the rabbit hole that is Dwight Howard?
No, please don't.
No.
Okay.
I beg of
So
you.
it would behoove him to keep his mouth shut just a little bit and protest while you're playing the game.
Yeah, Kyrie still thinks the Earth.
Hold
is
on,
flat.
Mike. Let me get the Ruth on this, and I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Ruth.
Is that what's going on though? That they don't want to play because they want to be more involved in the protests and not be worried about playing professional sports right now?
What they feel like is instead of playing, we should focus all of our attention and all of our energy. And like I said, I don't disagree with the sentiment because I do feel like this is a conversation that does not need to be swept under the rug once sports come back. What I will say to you, though, is when you have a platform and you're an athlete of that caliber, why not utilize the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I agree completely. The NBA playoffs, you guys are going to be having the camera on you. Everybody's going to be watching you. This is the moment where you could use your platform and use your voice to be, you know, saying things or making moves for social injustice.
Right.
And
go ahead,
also
Mike.
with
I
that-
got something.
Go ahead, Mike.
Real quick, Jake. I got something too
Yeah.
because ASU has done it before for Pat Tillman, and I think they've done it twice. But everybody wore the number 42, but all their last names had Tillman. I thought about this for the NBA playoffs because Kyrie. Honestly, I'm with you, Alex. I mean, I'm not saying he's not bright. I respect his opinion, but sometimes when he talks, I'm like, seriously, why are you talking? You're not playing, and now you're telling other people not to get paid too, because inevitably the sad thing, Eric, we talked about it, it's going to come down to the dollars. So now you're telling dudes, oh, then the CBA could be gone, and now you're not getting paid, and they're not making as much money as him. So again, I'm all for that. Yes, you can be an activist, but with the Pat Tillman thing, like I'm saying, every ASU player said 42 and it said Tillman across the jersey, so they can have their numbers and just have Floyd across their backs. Then what's Kyrie gonna say to that? I mean, what can you say to that? It's pretty simple. And I mean, of course, if you borrow it from a phenomenal athletic institution like Arizona State, that's a great thing too.
Okay,
So
Jake, go ahead. I'm about to mute him. Go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, Jake.
It's all good.
Please go ahead.
It's all good. Look, this is the best time for the NBA to make those moves right now because next week we're going to have the ESPYs on. So now that really opens that up. And then you're going to have the NBA coming back in July 31st. Keep this in mind, though, is that, you got Lou Williams out there. You got Patrick Beverly out there, all saying, and it's all going to come down to the guy to my right, LeBron. If LeBron says we're playing, they are going to play. And the NBA came out today and said, even though they do respect them not playing, you're just not going to get paid. And so Kyrie Irving, he's a unique soul. I'll just put it that way. He thinks the world is flat. He burns bridges everywhere he goes. He thinks that he was the greatest Boston Celtic to ever put on a
He starts
jersey.
fires and runs.
And this is why Jake comes to
Okay.
all the barbecues and cookouts.
Thank you. No, if I want an ambassador for this, I want CJ McCollum, because McCollum has been vocal about this. He's been on his podcast talking about this. And that's what you want out of it. You're going to have somebody that's already going to be down there with Damian Lillard. They're going to be battling out, trying to get into the playoffs. There you go. That's your ambassador right there. I don't think Kyrie Irving is the one to be that. Dwight Howard's not the one to be that. This is just another way of, telling a story about something that is happening. I honestly believe that they want to make this about the movement that is happening right now, this big grand moment. Then you have to have the right ambassador for it. And then also, I want to know this. Is it absolutely true that they are going to be in a bubble? Or are they negotiating right now and talking about, look, can I go like 50, like a 20-mile radius or something like that to go get a bite to eat or go to a club or something like that? Because yes, even though the COVID-19, we are spiking right now, we are open for business, and NBA players aren't going to want to sit in a hotel or anything like that. So there's
Jake,
yeah, but
I
Jake,
agree.
wanting to and doing the right thing are two different things. Plus, Jake, I was going to say this real quick too, to your point. Yeah, Patrick Beverley's tweet was the best when he says, "The Fat King James says he's hooping, we're all hooping." But the players, the player reps voted for this 28-0. So
right. Yes,
that's the crazy thing about this too. Like, they all voted for it, but no, we talked about this last time, Jake. They cannot. It's going to suck, but if you want to salvage a season and get paid, you're not leaving the bubble. Like,
right.
I'm sorry, because if you get tested and positive, it's still playing without you. And I don't want to hear any comments like, well, I got it. Well, why'd you get it? We left the bubble, and that's what happened. So I don't want to hear that, oh, you didn't win because that. So I don't think they should be able to leave it, but they need to play.
No. And Mike, that's a fair point, but I think from the players' point of view right now, they're just trying to understand all of the rules and regulations that are happening right now. That's why the NBA is putting out this big packet out to all of the players tomorrow that's going to bring up all the restarting rules, why this is happening, and why they're going to be put into this bubble. And so I think the NBA players are just not sure on every little aspect and detail on what is going on here.
Well, but their player reps
will be fine.
Player reps voted for it. That's what's funny.
But it's not just the player reps; it's also the other players out there.
I know, but the player reps talk to the teams, and they're the ones that had to vote for a 28-0. So either they didn't tell them everything; they said, "Oh, do you want to get paid or not?" If they asked them like that. But here's the best part for me about all this, with the MLB being just in shackles, like Alex said, and the NBA now, you have guys not playing, just chomping away. The NHL has the best. Gary Bettman, who I cannot stand, their system is laid out, their starting tests. If they're the only ones that end up having playoffs, which I don't think it will be, because I think the NBA will, I'm just going to sit there and laugh, because Gary Bettman, who is worthless in my opinion, like 89% of the time, he's just got to be sitting there smiling like, our governor's got this done, our players got this done, they're starting testing this week, and there's your 2014 play. And actually, the playoff system, Eric, is pretty cool. The Devils still missed out of it, but I'm just saying, for hockey to have their ducks in a row like that and make baseball look even worse, and basketball, they're kind of bickering, but they're still going to play.
Very true.
I just love it.
I think this is going to come down to, when it comes to the NBA, Jake, I think what we're going to see is very much like what the NHL is doing. The plan, once it's put in place and it is finally agreed upon, and basically the big name players are going to be the ones to ultimately make the decision. What they're going to miss out on, though, is that social interaction that you speak of, Jake. I think what's going to happen, and, a big thank you to Ruth the Truth for introducing me to a great source when it comes to the behind the scenes and kind of the inner workings and the intricacies of everything. The conversation that I had is basically the players within their bubble, in their hotel room, will get their sweats and get their whole gear set. They will get on a bus. They will go to the facility where they will be playing. They will have the ability to warm up, play the game. The leading scorer, leading players of the game of the night will probably stick around for a Zoom conference afterwards with media, which again is giving credit back to Mike from when we spoke earlier about how the media was going to be able to interact.
So you owe me White
The
Castle?
players, I do owe you White Castle, you're right. The players will then get on the bus, go back to their hotel, and then those personnel individuals will come by each person's hotel room and pick up their gear basically and get it ready for the next day. I
Yeah,
really feel
they're
like
not
that's going to
showering
be the
there or
place.
anything.
Go ahead, Ruth.
No, I'm saying I was agreeing with you. They're not going to be showering there or anything. So the least, areas for them to be, the better. Hotel game. But it's you got to think about it. Like they're not going to be around their families and friends for a month or two. Is that really how
Well,
this?
no, actually, it's going to be it's about what we're looking at, probably 2 months.
If you go to the finals, yeah, but for the teams that get eliminated first, because I saw the article when you guys were texting the other day, I was looking up some stuff between games, and literally, I mean, the first teams to get eliminated, they'll be out of there, I think, by like, what was it, like 15, 18 days, 20, or 23 days or something like that. And then it goes like more if you lose in the first round of the playoffs. So yeah, if you're the last two teams, I know they were talking about, even hockey was actually the one thing hockey was saying, negotiating about when family might be able to come in. And I think it would probably just be for the two Stanley Cup final teams. That would
You mean
be
NBA final teams?
No. Hockey. I'm just saying hockey was talking.
We're not talking about hockey,
family.
Mike. We're on basketball.
But I'm saying with same thing with basketball. They're talking about. I would guess to be for the finals, but they're only going to be there for. They would be there for the longest.
Yeah.
But you know what? Look, it sucks, and there's a lot of things that everybody's had to cancel. And I'm not saying that I don't feel bad for the players being away from their families, but I mean when they're on like a 12, 15-day road trip, they're gone for their families for 15 days.
Yeah, but Mike,
It's
hold
longer.
on. That's
No,
12,
listen, it's
15
longer.
days versus you're talking about possibly
okay,
the potential of being out there 2.5 months. Come on now. That's
Right,
different.
I know, and it does suck, and everything's been done obviously through like Zoom meetings and stuff like this. But I just think for a portion of the faction, it's once you agree to it, and then you hear other players start and people that want to see it again, they have to want to do it. But I just
It's listen. It's a minor hiccup for the greater good, and I think the NBA needs to kind of focus, the players, I should say, they need to focus on that to finish out their season and determine who the NBA champion is going to be.
Don't start whining like baseball.
Alex, I'm going to let you get the last word, and then we're going to move on to the NFL.
Okay, thank you. They need to play this season because the NBA players have already lost more than $300 million in salary. Terminating the rest of the season would cost another 25% for salary with the owners, and they'd have to exercise the major provision, which they already did. That's a failsafe because they're losing money. The NBA can recuperate that money by all the television deals and endorsements and jersey sales from them replaying. But that's on the top of losing the additional 10% in Hood Nelsbro if there isn't an NBA season. If they don't go back and play, they stand to lose $1.2 billion in salary.
So there you go.
I think it's going to be safe to say the NBA will be playing.
There you go.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Eric, real quick, but Alex, plus on that, the players that would actually push the vote over are all the players in the teams that didn't qualify for the playoffs, because if they vote not the teams that are going, or the 22 vote, we don't want to do it, they're also losing money when they didn't even have a chance to play. So, of course, they're all going to vote for them to play.
There you go. My man, Jake Rongholt, NBC Sports Radio. No, Jake, I'm sorry. You're not NBC. That's Mike. I'm sorry. I just want to give you that title.
Someday.
Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast, Alex Fleming, Buck Report contributor, and everything else that he does. Michael Carotenuto, NBC Sports Radio, 1060 A Sports Hangover, and our girl, Ruth the Truth, Sports Talk Florida. Make sure you check her out. Set the Sales Podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. Let's transition over to the NFL here live on the Sports Arena on YouTube. And thank you for everybody chiming in. I'm trying to do double duty here, catching the comments and relaying back to y'all. So, Mike and Ruth, how y'all feeling? Because I found out today that a certain Dallas Cowboy has been tested positive for COVID-19. And let me say this before both of you say anything to me. I'm taking my personal feelings as an Eagles fan away from this because I do not want anybody to contract this deadly disease. And I want to thank all of our first responders and everybody who is still out there day in and day out, fighting the fight and protecting us. And I severely and truly want, and I pray every night that we can get a vaccine so we can get back to normal. Now that I've gotten that out the way, let me just say this to both of y'all. Karma's a B, ain't it? Because y'all want to always throw Cowboy stuff in my face. And now your star running back, your leading rusher in not only probably the NFC East, but maybe in probably the NFL. He's one of at least the top 3 to 5, has now tested positive and has to self-quarantine for 14 days. Hey, Mike, hey, Ruth, what's up with that?
Well, first of all, he's feeling better, Mr. Excited about it over
According
there.
to his agent.
I'm not excited.
His
I'm
agent
not
said it,
excited.
but I just wanted to share this too, because I don't know if you saw this, but Ian Rappaport is breaking that. A Pro Bowler tore his Achilles. Eagles guard Brandon Brooks, who's been named a Pro Bowler in each of the last 3 seasons, has torn his Achilles tendon. Yeah,
Wait, when did he
Brooks.
drop this? Wait, Ian did not text me.
Yes.
Well, I know he didn't, but I'm just telling you, I got that, but no, I know. Okay, to get to the COVID though, it does suck, but and Ruthie and I were texting today, and I said to her, well, he didn't get it. If obviously he didn't get it when Dak Prescott, decided to have a birthday party, and the police got called, no charges were filed. We talked about that, Eric. Yeah, I mean, with the university, that's the first thing I thought of, because the other day when I was listening or on Saturday when the University of Houston canceled everything because 8 players had tested positive for it, or 8 athletes that were back had tested positive. I said, man, with the golf being in Dallas, I go, I don't know where they're at, but I said, if it's a second wave now and it's going up, but yeah, just reading about it, when Jake sent that over, I was like, are you kidding me? And then I couldn't. I mean, when Zeke said his agent said, he's feeling better. I hope so. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I said before, it sucks being inside. It sucks having to only go to the store when necessarily possible and people not working. I get it. But going back too fast, I mean, Italy, it started earlier and it was 4 months. I mean, that is a country that we know. I mean, tourism is probably 60% of the gross national product, whatever you want to say. So, and nobody was coming in, but their numbers are down. Germany's are down, and it sucks. And if you go back too fast, this is what could happen. And like you said, Eric, if there's no vaccine, it's going to be there might be 3 waves of this before people actually figure it out.
Man, I'm
and it's not just Ezekiel Elliott. There's also some unnamed Cowboy players and Houston Texans players that also tested positive for COVID-19. We've also had players from the Broncos in the past that have also tested positive. It's anybody's game right now, because during this weekend alone, the state of Texas had nearly 2,300 cases in a weekend. When it came to a point where the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, came out and said that this was the right time where you could start having people go to games, you could start having style sports coming back as well. And then this happens, and then you got this happening. The NFL should be thankful, though, that this did not happen in September, because now they have a few months to make sure that everything is put to plan. That if this happens in August, we have to understand the quarantine rules. So what are they going to do with this? I mean, you have Dr. Alan Sills of the NFLPA coming out and talking about this as well. But now we have to know about this. It is possible that these NFL players could test positive. Does that mean it's going to stop the season? Or are we going to continue on with this? Are we going to self-quarantine? So it goes back to the NBA, who is going to be that strong experiment to see if that'll work. If it does, maybe the NFL will adapt a couple of their ideas and go forward with it. But I mean, it's good to know that Ezekiel Elliott's okay, but I also care about the other players that are testing positive for this.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope it made sense on that.
Across the board.
No, you did. And waking up to that news this morning was really tough to read. But honestly, I wasn't.
Yeah, Jake, thanks for ruining my morning, by the way.
Yeah,
and
when I saw that, I was like, what? This is Monday too? Like, this is not how I wanted to start my week.
Hey,
And
I
then
just
with
reported.
the NBA, being doubtful of, their situation as well. I was like, this is not a good day. Yeah. But I'm not really worried about Zeke and his physical, because I mean, he's a young, tough guy. He's gonna fight this off, But I'm worried about his mental, like where it's gonna take him, being alone and isolated for 14 days, because you already know his track record. But
Listen, I don't want the
But
brother
this
to
is
get in
the
any more
problem with
trouble.
Corona. This is the
Nice.
problem with it. People didn't take it. And again, it's not about the over sensationalizing of it or living in fear. But when you're literally seeing other countries like Italy, you could not leave. Like if you had left your house, you pretty much had to call like 4 different people and get it approved. It was ridiculous like that. It's just, I get wanting to live a life and do it because we all do, but a lot of these people that are still getting, and Jake, I mean, a lot of those tests, I mean, it's a 5-day thing, but the fact that it spiked
True.
showed that people started to go out Memorial Day weekend, because even the governor here was, I mean, there were Memorial Day weekend crowds here, and it's no surprise it spiked to me now the last few days because there were people out and just, I mean, bars, places were packed, and I'm like, that's a good idea. And of course, the numbers shot up again. But yeah, I know, all kidding aside, Eric, hoping nobody gets it with the Texans
Yes,
players
I
too,
mean, listen.
and everything. But it's sad because
Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, look, Dallas players and Houston players both contracted it and got it. This is June. 14 days to recover, about a month to be considered clean. You know what? That's right around the time for voluntary workouts. July, mid-July. This derails nothing. I'm happy if he was going to catch it, he caught it now. Yes, you can recatch it. He's in prime condition. I'm more worried about the people around him. I'm in a lot of fantasy football chat rooms. You had Eagles fans and Redskins fans so dang happy that they weren't at each other's throats. And then hours later, I see Brandon Brooks tears his ACL and he's out for the season. That's what you get when you're nasty to people. Karma comes back and bites you.
Listen,
Zeke's gonna come back and play.
I prefaced my
Brandon
comments.
Brooks is not.
Okay, I
That's a
prefaced
big
my
loss.
comments with this. I was taking the Eagles side out of it, and you know what? I will say it again. I do not wish this on anybody.
Right.
No one. I want no one to have to go through what these people have gone through, because people have lost their lives because of this.
Yeah.
So let me make that
There was a
abundantly
story
clear.
on Chicago, actually. Whoops. There was a story out of Chicago this morning that there was a person, someone had unnamed, had COVID-19 and had to have a double lung transplant
See, yeah,
in Chicago,
no.
and it was a absolute migraine to get through. But they actually finally got the surgery done. I mean, we're just slowly getting back to normalcy right now. I mean, I work a delivery job right now while I continue to wait for the sports world to open up. I have to wear a mask and I have to wear gloves everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, every place I walk into, I better have a here because I'm part of a company right now that
Right.
is, trying to be able to, create a service. So, but the good, like I said before, and just like what Alex said, it is June. And then, like I said, that's why I said it's a blessing in disguise, because now the NFL has plenty of time to make sure that they have a good concrete plan for health and safety, not about finances, but about health and safety, because this is the number one sport in this country. And if
Ding,
that
ding,
sport
ding.
goes down, what's next?
Yeah. All right. One last
hey,
piece.
Ruthie's got a mask for you, Jake. If you need a mask, Ruthie's got an awesome mask.
Ruthie saw. We've already.
If
She's
you
already
do,
seen.
can
We
it
don't
be
need to
like
see
Randy
the mask.
White
Really,
or Bob Lilly or something?
Mike? Why? Really? We don't need to see the mask.
Oh yes, we do.
I thought it was
So
gonna be like a football
beautiful.
player or something like Randy White or Bob Lilly or
So
something.
beautiful. So beautiful.
I mean,
I love the
yeah.
Doomsday
Wonderful.
defense.
Man, Eric
Wonderful.
Wilson, Sports Arena here with Jake Rongholt, Alex Fleming, Ruth the Truth, and this man out in Arizona, Michael Carotenuto. One last piece before we get out of here. And
I've been
again,
quarantined too long. That's why.
thank you all for joining me here
Oh,
tonight
Eric.
on YouTube Live, and thank you for everybody chiming in. So, Alex and I have talked about this, and I really want to hear from Ruth, and I really want to hear from Jake, and of course Mike on this. And Alex, you and I can go back and forth as we always do typically. Also, make sure you check this man out tomorrow. His perspective, it's actually going to be really cool. Roger Goodell. We all know who he is, the commissioner of the NFL.
We do.
I was going to talk about the fact that Greg Popovich called him out, but I don't really want to talk about that because I feel that let's get more into political.
Yeah.
He is encouraging teams to sign Colin Kaepernick. Ruth,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? And the question that I want to ask Jake, Mike, and Ruth is simply this. If Colin Kaepernick is offered a job in the NFL, should he take it? Ruth, I'm going to start with you.
Yes, he should take it.
Why?
Am I surprised that Roger Goodell is offering him a job? Absolutely not. He's trying to undo wrongs that have been done to, you took 3 years of a man's career. He could have been winning Super Bowls. There's a lot that could have been done in those 3 years that was taken from him unfairly. So I think it was the least that Roger Goodell could have done was to, get him a job. And do I see Colin Kaepernick getting signed? Absolutely. I mean, even as a second string, I could still see him being signed somewhere. What if he goes to Tampa?
That was the question that was thrown out there. All right, Mike, I'm going to go to you with this. Should Cap take a job with the NFL if a team comes calling?
The question is does he still have the desire to play? I mean, if he does, then absolutely. But if not, don't go make a circus of it. And Roger Goodell, the one thing, look, he gets slammed, and I mean, come on, Paul Tagliabue did a lot, but there was a little bit for Roger Goodell to have to deal with when he walked through the doors. That being said, who's he biting the bullet for? The owners. So when he sits there and apologizes, because the owners are paying his salary, so he pretty much works for the owners, not the players, when it comes down to it. And yeah, the owners cost Kaepernick. I'm with you, Ricky. 3 years of his career, and I know he had that workout down in Atlanta. He switched spots with it. Look, if he wants to play, and he's going to come in and be and compete for a backup job, I mean, then that's cool. Or if he can compete for a starting job, who wants to sign him? I mean, it almost seems too little too late, because he was right. He was, peacefully protesting. But if I'm him, yeah, just to kind of thumb my nose at these owners, because now one of them has to sign a check for him, I definitely come back and play. But I mean, yeah, if he can go somewhere for a year, it's just kind of to sit for a year. And if he's a good teammate, they see how he is, and then maybe he gets a bigger contract the next year somewhere, sure. But I mean, I don't see why he shouldn't play.
Do you think Roger Goodell was in the wrong for not mentioning Kaepernick by name in his apology?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that also stems from the owners, 100%. But like I said, he still works for the owners. They are his boss. I mean, when Jerry Jones was crying and moaning, and Eric appreciated, I know he smiled the whole time about Zeke's suspension. When Jerry Jones was crying and moaning, and then he tried to get the owners to oust Roger Goodell. Jones has a lot of power, but guess what? 31 other owners were not going to vote to remove Roger Goodell. And then he ends up in that time getting a raise. So now the dude's making about $30 million a year working for the owners. You can't mention the name for legal reasons. And we all get that, because, I mean, and probably because he already had the settlement anyway. So I'm sure if there's something else mentioned, who knows if there's more ramifications there. But I mean, it's just like, it was the same thing to me when he didn't mention his name. I started cracking up when Jason Giambi had a press conference and was apologizing, but he wouldn't say what he was apologizing for. Basically for using steroids and cheating, but he never said he just wanted to have a press conference to apologize.
Yeah.
So,
Jake, I'm going to run to you with this one, same question.
Yep.
What do you think?
Absolutely, he should. I mean, we got to go back in 2010 here for a minute. I mean, who got a second chance? Who went through dogfighting? Who was in jail for 21 months in a maximum security prison in Leavenworth, Kansas? That was Michael Vick. Michael Vick had to go through the tough times, be welcomed back finally, because he realized this guy was multi-talented and he had a second chance at life. And now he's on Fox Sports and he's doing great things here. Look, all Colin Kaepernick did was peacefully protest. And I have talked to you and Eric, Alex, secretly about this. And I have told you both the same thing. I do believe Colin Kaepernick should get a second chance, because now we are in a different time. This is a very important movement that we are seeing in front of our eyes right now. And if you got NFL players out there, even like J.J. Watt, who are telling us that if you are still going against the flag, that you are not listening. You have J.J. Watt out there. You got Malcolm Jenkins, who just signed on with CNN, who has been a social justice warrior for the NFL, and no one has said anything about it. Colin Kaepernick deserves the benefit of the doubt. Give him one more chance. Let him be a second-string quarterback. Let him show off his talent. And if he gets that chance to go behind center, so be it. Because what we have seen the last 3 weeks is real.
Yeah. Alex, I'm going to give you the second to last final word, and then I'm going to close it out. So go ahead, sir.
I'm glad that Jake mentioned the CNN with Malcolm Jenkins. He's been hired as a race correspondent. I was going to save that tidbit, but Jake does his homework. You already know my position and how I feel about it. This man was exiled for no damn reason. They colluded against him to try to keep him out of the NFL. They gave him some piss poor contract offer in Denver. And then when he didn't accept it, it was like, oh, see, he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play. Now, I admit his girlfriend messed him up with Baltimore. But if they sign Kaepernick and he goes to Baltimore, they don't have Lamar Jackson. So you know what? It's funny how some things just work out. Look, Nike's been paying this man's bills. He's already made money off the settlement. Yes, they signed Eric Reed, but they cut him too. And I don't believe another team has picked him up. Death threats, people hurling stuff at him. Ignorant people who don't want to hear the message, don't want to relate to the message, or don't want to conform to the message are constantly going to be getting at him after press conferences. You got to think about players trying to take cheap shots on him. It's too many risks. Plus, you're working for the cowards who wanted you gone in the first damn place. If they wanted Colin Kaepernick to play, they could ask for a small percentage from each and every team. Hell, they could ask for $3 million from every single team's cap. And unless you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no one's going to wink an eye at it. If they wanted him back, he would have been back. He could be in New England right now saving that franchise. He could be a backup for Tennessee for an overpaid Tannehill. Hell, Kyler Murray doesn't have a viable backup. What happens if Tom Brady goes down? I would like to have Colin Kaepernick, because if he was a mediocre average quarterback, that means he's the best damn available backup quarterback you can have. I'm Nolan Boyd. I wouldn't play for these bastards, and I hope he doesn't.
That being said,
hey, Eric, real quick, I was going to say too, because for anyone that says Kaepernick can't play in a way to Alex's point, if they're going to say that, with the crappy Niners team as last year, when he came back on the field, he had 16 touchdowns to 4 picks. With a terrible team pretty much around him, with their record that you saw, 16 touchdowns and 4 picks. But yeah, he can't play.
so let me leave you guys with this, and then if there's anything final thoughts y'all want to get out, please feel free. This is what I said when it came to Kaepernick. I feel like this. You have become a social advocate for what is going on in this country. If you are given the opportunity to play again in the NFL and be on the highest stage of the most watched professional sport in this country, if not potentially second to soccer globally, then you take that opportunity to continually spread your message. Now, to Alex's point, there are going to be those negative things that are going to continually enter your life. There are going to be those obstacles that you are going to have to hurdle over in order to truly be heard. However, you will have 16 weeks where you will be a focal point. Whether the team you're on wins or whether the team you're on loses, people are going to want to talk specifically to you because they have that opportunity. And as far as not playing for the individuals and not playing for those people who basically vilified you 4 years ago, I will say to you, Alex, but again, what I am going to say to Ruth, to Mike, and to Jake for the first time, in the immortal words of probably one of the most least likely people you expect to ever hear me articulate from, Flavor Flav, you can call me whatever you want to call me. You got to pay me. That's how it's going to go down. So that's why I say, if you get your shot, you get your money, you continually spread your message, and then you make them pay. I'm going to leave it at that. Any final thoughts from anybody before we get out of here tonight? No? All right. Ruth the Truth.
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah. Ruth the Truth, Sports Talk Florida. Make sure you check her out every Mondays at 8 p.m. Set the Sail podcast. My man, Michael Carotenuto, NBC Sports Radio, 1060 The Sports Hangover out there in Arizona. Brother, please let everybody know. I mean, when are you going back live in studio?
That's a good question.
Okay. Put a pin in it. We'll come back to that. My man, Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast. This man is doing some really, really great things, not just in the community, but just overall worldwide. Check him out. And last but not least, a man who I now have to pencil into my schedule just to get some time with him. But I'm blessed to have him, as I am blessed to have each one of y'all. My man, Mr. Alex Fleming. This man's got a resume just every single day he's on somebody's show, talking about something, doing something. I remember if I remember correctly, our man from 24 Flicks, Chris Cuff, gave you a nickname. I'm gonna start using it. The Human Computer. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, he gave me that nickname. I don't get it.
Okay. All right. Well, we may use it, we may not. But anyhow, your man Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Thank you everybody for chiming in and tuning in. We will talk to y'all again really soon. Everybody have a wonderful evening. See ya.
Good night.
Go Cowboys.
Yeah.
No one cares about your Cowboys.
Even if Zeke is sick, they'll still be running in those touchdowns.
No one cares about y'all's Cowboys. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
okay, right. No one. Says an Eagles fan, right? No one.
I'm still mad about Brandon Brooks.
Okay, so what was he doing? Was he practicing? Was he
Yeah,
like
he
I
was
don't-
working out and he tore his ACL. This is what happens. I mean, you're getting up there in age and things happen. So
Yeah.
Mm.
It happens. TJ Lang, Brian Balaga, both have
it
done
does. It does. How the heck do you stop this thing?
Oh, we're still on.
Oh, we're still
Yeah,
live.
we're still live, bro. We still
I
live.
know. I'm trying to get out of here.
Maybe the stop button.
Mike. It says I paused it. I don't know. All right. Love y'all. Gotta go. See ya.
Bye.
Later.